Howdy folks, I'm Vehement Northern Red-Backed Bull, vocally volunteering to vet vermin.
I'm Amber.
And here are more vermin for us to vet. We need to make sure they are ferocious vermin. Rodents of unusual size even. We need to make sure because we're starting a rodent army.
Oof.
Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Explicitly Stating That My Punch is Non-Alcoholic? I'm a 25-year-old female and I recently attended a potluck-style work party and brought a bunch of punch, which has caused a problem between myself and another coworker, a 42-year-old female who we'll call Sandy. Last week, my boss hosted a party at his house to celebrate the end of a busy season and a job well done. All of my coworkers and their spouses were invited, and we decided that it would work well to do a potluck to offset the cost of feeding everyone, about 35 people, since not everyone who came brought a spouse or significant other. I volunteered to make a punch that I brought to a previous work event that everyone has enjoyed, as well as some fruit to go with it. This was a casual party with alcohol present, but since I have some coworkers who don't drink, I didn't add any alcohol to this punch. I figured that if people really wanted some, they would add it themselves. Well, fast forward a couple of hours, and Sandy is getting even louder and more dramatic than normal, and is stumbling around the party. I didn't think much of it, and figured that she brought her own drinks, or was adding some of the host's alcohol that was put into something else. She suddenly fell off a chair that she was sitting on and made a big show of saying that it's because she was so drunk. She then asked me, in front of the rest of our coworkers, what it was that I put in the punch. I was confused and I told her what was in the punch. Just a mix of ginger ale, 7-Up, orange juice, and a can of juice concentrate. And she wanted to know what alcohol I put in it because she's been drinking it all night and really is feeling it. I told her that I didn't put any alcohol into it and asked if someone else had spiked the punch bowl. Nobody said they added anything. And one of my coworkers, who doesn't drink, even said that they also had been drinking the punch all evening and was still completely sober. I also would like to clarify that I understand how context can matter. Like, if everyone else was really drunk, then that can make even a sober person feel like they're loaded. But that definitely was not the vibe. Sandy was the only person acting drunk. She then got really quiet and went by herself into the bathroom. The rest of my coworkers and I exchanged some awkward glances and tried to laugh it off. She left shortly afterwards, and I received an angry text from her about how I shouldn't have embarrassed her like that, and that now she looks like an idiot in front of our boss and the rest of our coworkers. She's been hostile at me at work ever since and basically refusing to talk to me. I didn't think that I did anything wrong, and most of my coworkers agree with me, but some said that I should have just let her go on thinking that the punch was alcoholic to save her some embarrassment. And I'm wondering if I should have done that. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. And I don't know what she was expecting. Like, the important thing is people need to know whether there is or is not alcohol in punch for a variety of reasons. If OP were to lie about there being alcohol in the punch, that could make things worse for coworkers who are sober, who assumed it was non-alcoholic, and then may feel like they have messed up their sobriety. Or for people, if they have medical conditions where they cannot drink, if they think there's hidden alcohol, that might cause them anxiety. And so I don't know what kind of reaction she was expecting from OP.
I'm a little concerned about the situation. All right. There's a couple of explanations here. There's something medically wrong with Sandy, and she is experiencing something like drunkenness because of that, whatever it is, like a brain tumor, for instance, right? Or somebody else was spiking her drink or, drugging her, right? And, or she was just completely like acting, right? So I think there's like 4 possibilities here.
Well, and there's also the power of suggestion. Like
Yeah.
sometimes if people think something is one way, then their bodies will actually, like, you can convince yourself. Brains are really weird and interesting. I've heard some really odd things about how, like, if you tell certain people that a rod is hot and you put it in their hands and their eyes are closed, then they take the rod away, they'll end up with burns on their hands because their body has been tricked into believing it's hot. So there are some people who are just really, really open to the power of suggestion.
So this could just be one of those cases where it's just the power of suggestion. She thought that it was, that she was getting drunk. This isn't the first person that I've ever heard of that's had something like this happen either, right? But yeah, I don't know that she has anything to be embarrassed by because there's still a lot of like plausible stuff that could have happened here. Like someone could have just poured alcohol into her drink. And I think maybe OP should say that and be like, well, there's a chance that, if you didn't have your drink monitored all night, maybe someone spiked your drink in particular, right?
The only problem I see with that, doing that in public, that's going to become like a big search kind of hunt for the person. It's going to lead to a lot of uncertainty. It
Yeah.
might be worth pulling her aside in private and mentioning that.
Well, I meant in private. So I didn't mean like make a big public show of it. I didn't mean like OP should get into the middle of the office, climb up on top of a chair, and be like, Sandy, I think that somebody spiked your drink
Well,
at
it was a
work.
very public, confrontation from Sandy.
Oh, I meant
So,
now. I didn't mean in the moment, right? Because I don't think that OP could have even known because they were confused about what Sandy was even saying, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so I think that now OP should sit and talk with Sandy and try to see if there's something wrong or, help her sort out this business. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, on our next letter is titled, My boyfriend, a 22-year-old male, won't stop curling my, a 19-year-old female's, hair in my sleep. My boyfriend is curling my hair in my sleep. How do I confront him? My boyfriend has always been interested in my hair, and he likes to watch me curl it. Then he started asking me to curl it. Just subtle hints at the beginning, which evolved. After this going on for a few weeks, it's progressed to him becoming more pushy about it, resulting in a lot of arguments. These got progressively worse for a few months. Then recently, probably about 2 weeks ago, I noticed strands of my hair curled when I woke up in the morning. I've also noticed my curlers have been moved around and are slightly warm when I go to use them. At first, I didn't think much of it. I just put it down to my erratic sleeping habits. But then my hair has progressively become more curly every time it's happened. I don't know how to confront him about this, as when I've tried, he's denied and become extremely agitated. If anyone has had similar experiences or some advice, please share. All right, folks. What should OP do other than flee?
Well, that's the thing is I would reevaluate the relationship at this point in time. It doesn't matter why he's doing it. He is doing something without your consent to you and lying about it. And this could also be dangerous because curling irons can get very hot.
Yeah.
And if you were to move in your sleep or he were to get a bad angle, you could get some serious burns from them.
Yeah. Or he could light the bed on fire
Or
or
that
any number of
too.
things,
Yeah,
right?
there's all kinds of ways it could go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, this is extremely concerning behavior. It's very controlling. It's very manipulative. The fact that this is like the definition of gaslighting, right? Now, if he is actually curling OP's hair in their sleep, and it sounds like it because the curling irons are warm, they've been moved, there's a lot of clues here that indicate that, yeah, something strange is going on. So I think that OP needs to get out of this relationship because this is just one thing, right? This is your hair. And if he's willing to go to these extremes now with something as simple as OP's hair, what other things is he going to do to impose his will on OP? Where will he stop?
Well, and even if he never did anything else, Opie has made it explicit that she doesn't want him curling her hair, and he is going behind her back and doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And it may feel like a small thing, but it's not small. Like, he is invading your body and doing something that you explicitly told him not to do.
Yeah.
And it's always okay to end a relationship for someone violating your boundaries.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Bringing My Son Over to Our Friend's 40th Birthday Celebration? My wife and I are both 45 years old, and we have a 15-year-old boy whose nickname is Adrian. Throughout Adrian's childhood, my wife and I were often busy with work, meaning that we would often have our friend T, a 40-year-old female, look after him. I'd even go as far as saying that T was a second mother to our son. T is very kind and wickedly intelligent, as well as a very skilled classic pianist, but she's also neurodivergent. And she doesn't really display emotions very strongly. Of course, she feels emotions, but she's rather stoic, and she's got a pretty noticeable resting bee face, which I actually find kind of cute and endearing. Back in 2024, T found out that Adrian had been taking a lot of pictures of her behind her back. He's got his phone filled with random pictures of the woman. Ever since this revelation, things have sort of soured between the two of them. So I sat down with her and I talked it out. My wife and I are some of the few people that T can comfortably open up to, so she described to me that she feels heartbreak when she thinks about what our son might be using those pictures for. On the other hand, she reaffirmed that she is as vested as ever in Adrian's mental well-being now, and that she still wants to reconcile with our young man that she helped raise. So earlier this month, we didn't tell T, but we brought Adrian along to her place for her birthday celebrations. She smiled and said hi to all of us, so I thought that we would get along for the night. We asked T to play something on the piano for Adrian, just like she did when he was younger. And this was when things took a turn. I can read her very well, and at that point, I could tell that she was trying not to cry. She apologized and headed to her bedroom. When she came out, she was wearing her pajamas, and she asked us all to leave. We did, of course. My wife and I brought Adrian along because we figured that this was the opportunity for him to reconcile with T. How badly did we mess up? Edit to clarify, so this is pretty embarrassing to write out, but T is the only woman that my son had been taking pictures of. His phone was full of pictures of only her, not random women. Alright folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, you're a major jerk. Your friend T was a victim of sexual harassment. This was very disturbing and upsetting for her. I understand that she has said she wanted to reconcile at some point in time, but that needs to be done on her terms.
Yeah.
You don't just surprise her with the person who victimized her.
Yeah.
You know, and I imagine Opie and his wife just wanted to smooth everything over and have things go back like old times, but that's not how it works when someone fundamentally betrays someone in that way.
Yeah, can you imagine doing this on someone's birthday on top of that
Right.
too?
And then asking her to play songs for him on top of that.
Yeah, just like objectify her further type of thing, right? Like, look, why don't you do this for our son who's, got his eye on you,
Yeah,
let's say.
like we can see where his entitled attitude comes from.
Yeah. So, and the betrayal of trust because OP and their wife are one of the few people that she can go to even talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And now she can't even go to them to talk about this because of how gross of a overstep this was, right? So to answer OP's question, how badly did you mess up? Astronomically, like dinosaur extinction level messed up type of thing.
Yeah. And it's not even clear to me that OP's son understands why what he did is wrong. And so I would start by let T have her space.
Yeah.
You could send an apology letting her know that you royally messed up and you can't believe you did that. But let her know the ball is in her court and that you'll give her some space. And then have a sit down with your son and make sure he fully understands why what he did is not okay. And that he's probably never going to be able to have a relationship with T again.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I'm reading the situation as well. I just don't view this as being a repairable relationship at this point in time, if not for many, many years, right? Not a great situation.
Like, it just seems like OP does not grasp the magnitude of what the son did, and that's a problem.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Frankenstein's kid says, you're the jerk. So you and your wife brought an uninvited guest to her birthday party, a person who violated her trust and caused her heartbreak, no less. And then you tell her to entertain him. Why the heck did you do that? If you wanted to help her reconcile the relationship, how about you first tell Adrian to apologize? Did you ever tell him the consequences of his actions? 15 years old is enough to know right from wrong and to know boundaries. Whenever T is ready, she'll make her move on her own. T was the person who was heartbroken. She should be the one to make the final decision. But instead, you both decided that you knew better. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk? A 26-year-old female for breaking up with my 28-year-old male fiance after he didn't say anything to his dad who was taking pictures of me in the shower. Fiance and I were visiting his family for Christmas. On our third night, I went into the shower. Never once have I ever understood or believed in the feeling like someone was watching you until that day. I truly felt like there was someone else in the room with me. I turned around and I see a phone between the decorative curtain and the clear curtain that keeps the water out. I startled and I flung open the curtain to see his dad for a split second before he left the room. Any hope of it being my fiance quickly fizzled out. The door was cracked open still, and I immediately grabbed my phone and started blowing up my fiance's phone. When I eventually got out of the shower, it became an argument very quickly. At first, he didn't believe me. He was saying that I was probably just paranoid because I'm not used to a new house. Then he changed the story to he probably was taking a picture of me and was going to send it to him later when things died down. Then he began to imply that I made it up because I wasn't the biggest fan of his dad. All while I'm begging him to go in and get the picture off of his dad's phone and tell him that it's not okay. We continued to argue, and eventually I told him that if he wasn't going to talk to his dad and have him delete the photo, then I was going to take legal action. He then proceeded to insist that I was overreacting, and eventually I got so mad that I packed my things and I left the next morning. I took an Uber to the train station and figured out from there. 5 hours later, I finally got home and I'm still angry about the situation. I texted my now ex-fiance that if he wasn't willing to believe me or stand up for me, especially in such an extreme situation, that he's not someone that I want to be with and I will be taking legal action. He tried to protest and tell me to just come back and we could work it out, but I blocked him. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. Fiance and his dad need the centrifuge like yesterday.
Oh, the super centrifuge.
Like the disgustingness of this man who you trusted to be like, oh yeah, no, my dad was probably just taking a picture for me. But like, first of all,
Happy birthday, son. Have a picture of your wife.
like, this is an invasion of your privacy no matter how you slice it. Like, you don't just get to go into someone's shower and take pictures of them nude and be like, I was going to send it to your partner. Don't worry, this isn't for me. Like, and then to be like, oh no, you imagined it. You're just overreacting. You're in a new house. Like, the dismissiveness of this man is unreal. He is not the kind of person you want to share your life with. If he will not believe you on something this egregious, all you asked him to do was get his dad to delete the picture and have a conversation saying it's not okay. If he can't do something that basic, he's not going to have your back when the times get tough. I mean, this is times getting tough and he doesn't have your back.
Yeah. I have one word response to all of this. Disgusting. Plain and simple. What they did here was absolutely disgusting. OP has every right to take legal action against them, and I hope they do. And I hope the police come to his house and get the photo off of their phone, because this isn't a laughing matter, right? This
No,
isn't
it's not.
some hijinks, boys will be boys hijinks type of thing, right? No, what he did was completely inappropriate, and he deserves to have legal action taken against him, and potentially jail time too.
Right, because what he did was a gross invasion of OP's privacy. And when you have pictures like that, there's all kinds of other horrible things you can do, like post them on the internet. OP does not need that possibility hanging over her head. And so I hope the police are able to do something and get this off his device.
I hope so too.
And I hope he hasn't done this to anyone else, but if he's willing to do this to OP and OP's boyfriend is so quick to cover for him, that raises some serious questions for me.
Well, yeah, well, the brazenness of this makes me think that this is not the first, nor will this be the last time that he attempts something like this.
And it makes me wonder if the son and the father and son are in cahoots on this sort of thing.
Birds of a feather flock together, as they say, right? You are the company you keep, and the husband, the fiance, is keeping some pretty bad company right now. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Which fairy tale princess is a sight to behold at night?
Oh, I would say the fairy tale princess that's a sight to behold at night is probably the one that doesn't have that has a lot of sparkles. Cinderella, because she has a sparkly gown.
Aurora.
Oh, that would make a lot of sense.
And today is Tell a Fairy Tale Day.
Oh, so make sure to tell a fairy tale. I have a fairy tale for you. Once upon a time, there was a fairy, and she told a bunch of stories, And these weren't quite truthful stories. And so a lot of people stopped believing her when she told these stories. And so they stopped having anything to do with this fairy because she told too many tales, tall tales. But then it turned out the fairy wasn't even real, and so it was like inception of a fairy tale.
Well, today we also have it's International Tongue Twister Contest Day.
Oh,
So write your best tongue twisters and submit them to the contest. I don't have any rules. It's on National today though, so we can have our own mini contest. Just submit them in the comments.
yeah. And I have Earl Grey. Everyone submit your tongue twisters for Brian to read
Yeah.
during the tea time segment. All right, folks, that's all the time we have today. Thanks so much for watching. Happy, fantastic Wednesday. I don't know why I said that. It's Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Wonderful Wednesday. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please, pretty please, have it kind of creepy.
My advice isn't creepy, but the dad from that story sure is.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.